What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Dirty Mike, and today, my friends, we're talking about the weekend league. I'm going to show you my premium squad. Before we get into all of that, I want to talk about cheap alternatives. I want to give something back to all you guys that might not be able to afford the legends, or on the PlayStation, or the Ronaldos, or the Bales, etc. So we're going to talk about some cheap players that are solid alternatives, and if you enjoy the content, make sure to drop a thumbs up. And in the comments, what would you consider cheap alternatives for some of these players? I'm going to give you some examples, and I want your feedback, some dialogue, some back and forth. Let's go at it down below. Remember, I do the pro swap, so in-game, I'm going to be in the 4-1-2-2. Goalkeepers, I would just say go Butland. If you can't afford Neuer or De Gea, Butland's great. Begovic, I would prefer Farman over having even Leno in my team. Farman just plays at a very high capability, and he's consistent. That's what you're asking for with your goalkeepers. As for the defense, let's start with the right back. Kyle Walker's not expensive, but if you wanted to be cheap, Perez, even Bellerin in the same league, Klein, you've got options. Valencia, you should not have an issue finding someone in that position that you are comfortable with and that you can use and abuse, whether it's in Division 1, Division 5, maybe you're making something in the draft. Who knows? But you should be able to find a right back. There's a lot of them this year. Left back, however, gets a little trickier. Cheaper option than Alaba would be an Alexandra, but then you have to sacrifice maybe defensively in other areas. You want to go into the Serie A, I could understand, I could relate. When we're looking at center backs, you guys see I've gone with Ferdinand and of course the classic Boateng. First time I've used a legend center back in the weekend league. Other good cheap center back options, I would recommend the Bundesliga if you can build a team out of the Bundesliga, because Top Rack and Socrates right now they might cost you a little bit more because of SBCs, but normally they're not that expensive, and they're 84 overall. They're big, they're strong, they're positioned well, they make tackles. 2 thumbs up. I've always had a lot of love for Rudiger this year as well. If you wanted to get in this area, you're trying to make some sort of link up there with Sandro or Perez, Manolas. You've got some solid choices across the board. If you're in the Premiership, you could look at the Zumas, the Matips. You have that new informed Winston Reed card. Even his normal card, though, is at a high level. Center, defensive midfielder. There's not many that are going to compare well with Vieira. Just having the agility where he can move all over the pitch and the speed, and then being 6'3", 6'4". When I think of taller CDMs or center mids that I like to use, it's a Fellaini or even a Matic, but those guys are a lot more clunky in comparison to Vieira. Fellaini's got those crazy legs though, man. He extends and makes things happen in the midfield. One of those players that's very overpowered. With my 2 center mids, of course, finding alternatives can kind of get tricky, especially with Gareth Bale, because how many central midfielders do you know that have 94 pace? I'll wait for you. And then also being left-footed, that's a gift. If you're trying to save coins in that position, you probably have to go a little bit more of a traditional route. Conte, always recommend Conte. He's still fast, he's going to be annoying. He doesn't have the size of a Gareth Bale, but his presence is seen, especially as a center mid, if you allow him to kind of roam. Paul Pogba, another big dude. For whatever reason, when I'm thinking cheaper options versus Paul Pogba, is like a Yaya Toure, another guy that's big and athletic. You could probably get away with even with a Leroy Fer if you wanted to keep it very discount. Nothing jumps off the page when you're looking for a 5-star skiller to play center mid for you with that type of power, strength, skill, class, undeserved inform, but we'll take it. We embrace that. At a cam position, now this is where it starts to get a little bit easier to find someone. I'm not going to say it's Bergkamp-esque, and I have rotated Rui Costa out. I wanted to try Bergkamp for a weekend. I've played against a lot of very talented Bergkamps, and he should be. He looks like he has a better shot. Otherwise, pretty similar across the board when you're looking at a comparison between him and Rui Costa. I hope it's a good exchange. But I think Draxler is a very good comparison that still has that size and the strength, and then can shoot from anywhere on the pitch using both feet. I just think he's a very solid comparison to Bergkamp in FIFA 17. Up top with the striking partnership, Ronaldo, there's only one player that comes to mind that's really cheap that resembles Ronaldo, and that's actually Balassi, who you see used plenty in squads, especially early in the year when people didn't have the coins. He got some inform cards. Yes, I understand he doesn't have the shooting like Ronaldo, but other than that, size is there, the speed is there, the skill moves. He has a lot of statistics that have the ability to kind of resemble a mini Ronaldo. Is he as good? No. Can he shoot well? No. But that's the only player that really comes to mind if you want to get a striker that is very similar to Ronaldo. just a discount version. With Griezmann, you'd be looking at a left footer, which there's not that many. I think Bella, if you played him as a striker, might work. Maybe a Salah. There's a bunch of informed Salahs, which probably won't help you on price tag, but even the normal Salah card, I like him. I think that he gives you that pace that Griezmann offers, and it's just about positioning from that point forward. But these guys would still have that feel. Even Musa, at times, with the agility and the speed, feels like a Griezmann, but he just doesn't have, obviously, the left foot or even the shot-taking capabilities from well beyond outside the box. He might be able to hit something from 25 max. But see, Griezmann gives you the ability to shoot from anywhere as long as it's on his dominant foot. You've seen the custom tactics. It's nothing out of the ordinary. The big key is on the defensive side to be on cover and then maybe to lower that pressure a little bit, because default is at 65, and unless you truly are pressing your opponent, I'm talking full pitch pressure, you're taking that gamble, 65 is going to hinder you and you will be counterattacked. Whoo! First match! And I'm up against a Twitch subscriber. You guys might recognize the squad and the name. Going up against Deo, who seems to play me very close this year. I don't think he's beat me in any games, but we have a lot of 1-0s and a lot of late goals. Just a battle in the midfield, and whoever wins the midfield typically wins the match. You guys know I always like to play against the subscribers, whether it's friendlies, especially since a lot of my subs are better than Division 1 players. Therefore, it's a great warm-up game. It's a great way to tell, is this squad as good as I think it's going to be, or am I dropping the ball somewhere? Do I need to make changes? And that's what we're going to talk about. So defensively, I still haven't used Ferdinand a lot. I really want to give a full review in a 40 and 40 episode after the weekend league. As you see, the 90th minute, the greatest minute, the best minute if you're on the winning end. But I want to play with him more. First impression, looks amazing. He moves well. I like him. It's definitely a throwback Thursday. Kyle Walker, we know what he's about. Alaba Boateng, we know what that's all about as well. And then with Neuer in the goal, he's holding it down. I just trust him at this point in terms of what he's produced in the weekend league. In fact, he hasn't been fantastic for me outside of the weekend league. When I go into division matches or when I'm going into friendlies, he makes some mistakes here and there. But as long as he shows up on the weekend, it's difficult for me to replace him or to justify replacing him, even though I do want to include a Van der Sar. And then CDM, Vieira, tough. Most likely the best center defensive midfielder in the game. I'm hoping by January to have Hullet, but EA just does not want to give me any pack luck. If you saw my video earlier in the week, my reward packs, I'm not sure there's worse reward packs on YouTube. For someone who's finishing with 35, 36 wins, you can't get much worse than my rewards. I opened 2 Team of the Week, the special packs where you're guaranteed 3 of the black players. You're like, cool, that's no racism. You understand, Team of the Week players. I had, out of those 6 cards that I got, 5 were 81s. And the other one was an 84 Alsama, who really doesn't sell for much. I did a few of those SBCs, which is in the video. Same thing. We're keeping that on repeat. I don't know if EA's salty because I put out the video talking about momentum. If that's the case, guys, we don't have to be petty. We can all get along. And then we've got Paul Pogba, who's a legend. He'll probably be in every team that I build in terms of being in the competitive world or going into the weekend league. He's just that good. He has the ability to track back. He's big. He's fast. 5-star skill moves. Really no negatives for Paul Pogba. In fact, he even feels bigger on the pitch than Vieira. I know they're around the same height, but he just has a certain bulkiness to him. And if you've played a lot of FIFA, you understand that that is an asset to have when you're in a match, being able to push people around and just bump people off the ball in 50-50s. And then the next match that I played against, you saw 2 1-0 wins over Deo. I went against Smasher, who's another Twitch TV subscriber who I believe he finishes a Gold 1, Elite 3 area, typically in the weekend league. And the last game I did a random Division 1 match, just to throw one more game in there, test out the squad against a nice little variety of opponents. And I was playing on Wednesday too. And any time that you play on Wednesday, the servers can be kind of suspect, but it's the best time to build your squad in a way because you're excited. You want to add new players. You just had reward packs. Maybe you're not as excited about my reward packs. And then Gareth Bale's a center mid is amazing because he can just track everywhere on the pitch. He has that roaming capability. And if you're playing against someone that has parked the bus, Gareth Bale's left foot can bail you out at times. He can hit a long shot. That's where Conte really hurts you. If you're using Conte, is if you need to score goals consistently versus the park the bus, versus somebody that has no pressure, someone who's just trying to hold the ball and play this match out, maybe go to penalty kicks or hold on to a 1-0 lead and they're not trying to score any more goals. That's where I don't like Conte. He's great defensively. He's annoying. He's a track back king, but he lacks some of the offensive skills with shooting. And have I scored good goals with him? Absolutely. Have you scored good goals with him? Probably so as well. We all have stories of a long shot with Conte. I feel like that's the new myth this year. And then Cam, Bergkamp. Basically, between him and Rui Costa, you get a better shot from Bergkamp. He feels a little clunkier, but he is physical as well. Very similar cards. Super similar. When you're looking at them, compare and contrast. When you're playing with both of them, compare and contrast. Very similar. So if you can't afford Bergkamp, start with Rui Costa. I'm going to try him out this weekend league, and I'll tell you if I'm satisfied, if he lives up to it. I think he's going to be a difference maker just off the ability to shoot and score and finish. Rui Costa's an outstanding finisher, but I think Bergkamp just has more power in his shot. So he should be able to score maybe some more of those, man, I really could use a goal moments, and you need a long shot to bail you out. I'm hoping the Bergkamp does that for me. And then up top, Ronaldo, Griezmann. And at some point here, if I bring Hullet in, I'll probably rotate Gareth Bale from center mid back to striker. I think that he's better than Griezmann as a striker. However, right now, this is how it makes sense, in my opinion, with building the best team. And you guys know what Ronaldo's all about. If you enjoyed it, drop a thumbs up. If you're brand new, drop a subscription. Remember to let me know what you think about some of the cheap options that I threw out there at the beginning of the video. Until next time, peace.